Bull or bear? Let's take a look here. She's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals and conciergebullion.com in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live John Pennekamp video up here, or underwater cam, which obviously is in John Pennekamp Park in the Florida Keys. Beautiful day out there. A lot of fishes. For some reason, they just turned over to the grassy area. Not too much to look at here, but still beautiful. Lots of activity down there. 72 degrees this morning. Beautiful weather, sunny, blue skies, and little cotton balls up there. Cloud, little cotton ball like clouds. Beautiful day. Love living in South Florida, and this is the reason why. This is our time of year. Got the 70s. Our temperatures will hopefully be in the 70s, even though it's been 80s in the afternoon mostly. Looks like it is cooling down the evenings, and that usually means the days will cool down as well. Hope we have that nice cool winter like we did last year, and a cool spring. Not too much to look at here. Let me hit that live button. I'm just kind of curious where oh, there we go. Got some fishes there now. Got the pole again as well. Let's see, it's going to just stop. Yep, there we go. All right, not much to look at here, folks. Move along, move along. Let's talk about spot prices. And yes, it is a morning video. Haven't done one of these in quite some time. I got to get back to doing them. My consistency with my evening videos has really sucked, you know. I mean, working all day, and all of a sudden things come up. You got to get stuff done. You got to squeeze in the video, get it done. So I'm looking forward to trying to get these done in the morning and just knock them out. Much easier to get done as well. My head's a little bit clearer in the morning versus at the end of the day, and my throat too is not as dry. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Kind of bullshit in a way, but all of us remember this saying from way back. I went to look to see where this saying came from. I couldn't verify. I don't even know. It's just an unattributed quote. But again, this is even something I remember as a kid. Possession is 9/10 of the law. You got a bully right there, took away a piece of candy from someone here that's crying, a little smaller kid. That's usually the way it works. The bullies, bullying around smaller entities, smaller people. This happens in corporations and governments as well, folks. Trust me on this. And snubbing his nose there, you know. Well, anyways, nothing a good kick in the balls wouldn't handle. But I digress here. This is not a self-defense course or a nature biology, or sometimes it's not even a gold and silver show. So, all right, there's a reason I brought this up, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Let's first take a look at spot prices here. I'm going to do a quick refresh. Spot prices are courtesy of Certified Coin Exchange. This is a dealer, wholesale dealer network only. A lot of the gold and silver products that a lot of you folks buy out there from some of the big online companies like APMEX, SDJ, and Bullion, and others are purchased and traded on this particular system. Again, dealer network only. Probably one of the oldest ones out there. Has been around since the 1960s. We used to call it the teletype system way back then. And great system. I've been on it a long time myself. My father was on it when I was a kid. Again, I remember the teletype. You used to take this little piece of tape and you'd type in, and it would you'd feed the tape into this machine, and it would put buy prices out there, and it would print out on these. You buy this boxes of paper that had the, you know, remember. I forgot what kind of paper you called that. Remember the old printers had the little holes on the side that where it would feed through, you know, like the teletype, and you'd read off that. All right, this is not a technology show either, so let me keep it short and simple here. Gold prices, silver prices, platinum prices, still super dirt cheap. Why are they super dirt cheap? Say that 5 times fast. Super dirt cheap, super dirt cheap. Why? Not because of supply and demand, not because of real fundamentals. The reason gold, silver, and platinum are super cheap, if you're new to these videos, is because of the crooked behavior and the crooked, collusive, manipulated behavior that happens in the LBMA markets and the COMEX, CRIMEX markets, and probably gold and silver casino bourses, casinos I call them, all over the world. But particularly the CME group, when it comes to silver, is the worst criminal of them all. Not so much the CME group, they're the worst casino owner of them all, but they have the most crooked whales that play in their game of anyone, especially in the silver market. And that's why prices are so cheap in gold, silver, and platinum. And why would you, well, you know, a lot of people have asked out there, why do I want to own gold, silver, and platinum if they're so manipulated? Well, folks, at some point, as always has been proven, this is going to get completely outside of their control, especially how badly they've screwed the pooch when it comes to gold and silver and platinum prices, and how bad they've screwed this market up over their greed and their lack of, well, basically their lack of regulation, because the CFTC is completely worthless. Again, you can fast forward this. Most of you folks know all this. I'm just telling the new folks why they don't have to worry about it. It's going to blow up in their faces, folks. Trust me, at some point we're going to have our oh crap or oh shit moment. I've been saying this for quite some time. Since 2016, actually, I've been saying this. So, but you know exactly when this is going to turn in the opposite direction, I don't know. Wish I did know. If I had a good crystal ball, I would have taken all my money, placed it all in that one particular day, made my millions and millions or whatever I could make, and walked away. Walk away, and well, what would you store the money, all that money you made in? I guess I'd have to store it in gold and silver as well, wouldn't I? Well, let's take a look at what's going on out there in the world as far as newsworthy events. Oh, premiums, by the way. Premiums are super cheap right now as far as Eagles and all these other products. Typically, I've said stay away from gold Eagles, but man, even the price of gold Eagles is now under $200. I haven't looked in the last couple. Well, actually, I haven't looked all weekend because I've been closed. But yeah, we're at sub $200 premiums on gold Eagles right now. I'm going to venture to say probably 185, 180 or less. Considering that we were at 200, 225 not too long ago, even with lower gold prices, premiums are down, folks, across the board, except for generic products. Generic products haven't come down much. Only the pricier, high premium goods or products have come down, so, you know, quite a bit, like gold Eagles, even maple leafs, and some of the other products. Silver Eagles and 90% have come down as well. So if you like that kind of stuff, the prices are a bit more reasonable, still too high in my opinion, but a bit more reasonable than where they've been. Let's take a look at some newsworthy events out here. I thought this was pretty cool. Putin's plot to Europe's deindustrialization. More tired looking at that stuff. This is what I found interesting. Gold miners ordered to sell 20% of the refined bullion to Ghana. Ghana plans to buy oil with gold instead of US dollars. What does this mean, folks? Just simply another country, even a smaller country like Ghana, de-dollarizing, getting away from using the dollar as their primary trade unit. And instead of using the dollar, they're going to use gold to buy fuel oil and oil to help sustain their economy. I'm going to get into a good article that was done by BBL, Vince, right here. We're going to read this real quick for you. Ghana's gold for oil deal is not good for the US dollar. 5 reasons why Ghana is good for gold, and 1 that makes Ghana bad for it. Okay, a little confusion there, but let's see what Vince has to say. I like most of the stuff that he writes. In fact, I like almost all of the stuff he writes. He's pretty much on target. Bloomberg reports that Ghana, Africa's second largest gold producer, ordered a large mining company to sell 20% of the metal they refine to the nation's central bank, as the government embarks on a plan to barter bullion for fuel. Interesting and kind of nice to hear is that you know, governments can tell you what to do, and they often do. You know, especially these smaller governments and the governments in these banana republics, so to speak. Well, we're becoming a banana republic too, I think, certain areas, Chicago, Detroit. But ordered large mining companies to sell. They didn't like confiscate the mines. They didn't confiscate the gold. They ordered them to sell 20% of the metal to Ghana's national central bank. Reuters ad, if you can trust Reuters, if implemented as planned for the first quarter of 2023, the new policy will fundamentally change the balance of payments and significantly reduce the persistent depreciation of our currency, Vice President Bawumia said. Say that 3 times fast, Bawumia. I hope I got that right. The barter of gold for oil represents a major structural change, he added. This comes at a time when debt-ridden Ghana is struggling to make payments and is in the middle of a renegotiation with the IMF to those ends. Another group of crooks, the IMF. Here are some thoughts on the Ghana gold announcement, why it's good for gold and what some bears are saying, and 1 risk worth noting. Less means less, okay? This is kind of interesting that Vince brings up. Less physical to the LBMA or wherever means less physical is controlled by the intermediaries. This is a very good point that he makes. Paper short will be forced to accelerate covering as less metal is available for deals. This is kind of what we're seeing in the criminal crime X markets, the CME group and the LBMA. And actually, we're going to see it more with Ghana selling less gold for dollars and trading direct gold for oil. Consistent with Basel III behavior, somewhat like nickel, collateral shortage, but infinitely slower. Commodity scarcity is the rule now as nations pull in the reins on natural resources exports. Gold, while not consumed commodity, is the most reliable store of wealth for these times on earth. More will be needed. Let me repeat that. And I think Vince is dead on this. Gold, while not a consumed commodity, is the most reliable store of value for these times on earth. Thank you, Vince. Took the words out of my mouth. And more will be needed. Again, with Ghana not selling their gold, with Ghana not selling more gold to the LBMA, that means less gold the LBMA has and more that they have to try to cover for their crooked short positions. Gold takes the oil deal market share from the US dollar, another very interesting point. The seller of refined oil, the most used energy resource on earth, is, we'd assume, as Ghana represents, telling everyone that gold is acceptable as payment. All that matters is the price haircut if one exists. It's not who's selling the gold. We know that's a distressed party. It's who buying the gold that matters. And when you get Ghana, what Vince is talking about, Ghana is a distressed party. We should not be looking at who is selling the gold. The gold is coming out of weak hands, and weak hands would be Ghana. Ghana would be selling their gold for oil, coming out of weak hands. And it's going into stronger hands, a person that has the oil and is willing to make that trade for oil for gold. And as Vince points out here, it could be a really good deal for Ghana as long as there's not too big of a haircut taken on this trade, but probably a lot less a haircut taken on this trade, selling gold directly for oil than if they were trying to convert it through the US banking system or the European banking system where they get raped. 3, global renegotiation of the dollar deal at adverse terms for US dollar, better terms for alternatives. One definite risk this slightly exasperates is any country renewing trade deals in dollars may be, but more apt to close deals on shorter timelines. Terms for dollar-based deals will shorten from events like this, casting future doubt on the U.S. dollar incumbency. If two parties like Ghana and a fuel-producing nation are willing, two parties, Ghana and a fuel-producing nation like maybe Russia, perhaps, are willing, able, and bold enough to publicly accept gold instead of dollars in defiance of American hegemony. I can never pronounce that word right. I'm skipping it. Rules. This will encourage more defiance. All right, and this is not good. Remember what happened when Gaddafi said he was going to make a gold-denominated currency in Africa. He got a knife put up his bum for that one, folks. So you got to wonder, really, who does run the world? Well, definitely is in the military. The people that print money are the people who run the world. A good view of that is take a look at Ukraine. Basically, this is more or less European nations, European central bankers and U.S. central bankers fighting against the BRIC nations at this point, being Russia and China. This is a financial war where people die. All right, but I digress again. Virtuous self-reinforcing cycle. Very interesting right here. Gets a little more technical. If you want to read this stuff, I recommend that you take a look at Zero Hedge's article here. Anyway, I'll go to the top of the page and show it to you. Which leads to the positive network effect, IPO effect of increased currency use. If more people have it, then more people will use it. This is the virtuous self-reinforcing cycle in action. A growing float, raised awareness due to organic use from previously low float means an increasing price. Again, get into more technical stuff here, folks. I do recommend that you read this. Gold reemerges as a medium of exchange. A seller will accept it in exchange for a good or service. Unit of accounting allows you to compare the value of goods and services in relation to one another. And store value allows you to store purchasing power for later use. All of these three things that gold does, okay? One way to see this better is to think of the world post-World War II between 1944 and 1971 under Bretton Woods as a second monetary system. The United States remained on the gold standard store value, while the rest of the world went on the dollar standard medium of exchange. Post-1971, the dollar became the store value as well as gold was successfully demonetized. The dollar became the store value as well as gold was successfully demonetized for a while. The world between 1944 and 1971 was pegged to dollars for convenience and on-demand liquidity. The dollar then was pegged to gold for trust and controlled expansion of the currency supply. In 1971, the U.S. asked the world to trust it. Again, this is about when Nixon took the world off the gold standard, the dollar off the gold standard completely. In 1971, the U.S. asked the world to trust it wouldn't debase the U.S. dollar even without gold backing. It didn't. It debased everyone else's by exporting its own printing worldwide, creating this addiction to U.S. dollars. Okay, that's basically what we've had for years until we weaponized the dollar. The world is less trustful of the U.S. as a result. Zoltan's Bretton Woods III concept is its response to that mistrust. And most of you that watch my videos, you know, that was a big thing a couple years ago, was Bretton Woods III, you know, how gold become a tier 1 asset instead of a tier 2 asset. And that's a whole different story. Now gold is being viewed as the, oh my gosh, I just, is this what it's a store of value, SOV it has always been, but the US dollar may be less needed. Electronic blockchain accounting or desire with its confiscation, sanction risk. And again, that's the problem that we have with the US dollar, and the problem that you've got with cryptos is that they can be turned off anytime, they can be taken away from you, you can be cut out of the system completely, and no one trusts that. And this is the reason that we're seeing people go back to using gold. This is why we're seeing central banks, particularly the BRICS countries, you know, buying more and propping up their assets with more gold, propping up their currency with more gold. The risks above, each of the above risks has associated with, for example, number one, if there's less physical for LBMA, then that can be bearish as longs close positions due to lack of deal availability. Call it demand destruction. It is a very likely on tactical levels. But what are you going to substitute for gold for as a freshly minted tier 1 collateral at the bank level when the row is eschewing sovereign bonds due to counter party risk for physical? Nothing. Again, it gets really technical here. Bear argument so far, the supply and demand argument, gold is being sold while oil is being bought, is therefore bearish gold on gold and bullish on oil. And as Vince says, that's complete nonsense. Ghana is presumably using less dollars to buy the same fuel oil it always buys. Therefore, as a nation, they need to exchange less CEDIs for US dollars to transact their deal. The principle of reserve currency implies that everyone must have dollars on hand as stores of value so they can buy oil and other commodities they need for survival. If they're using gold instead of dollars, then that is less local fiat swap short and US dollars bought. It's bearish for the dollar for sure. But whether it is specifically bullish for gold in the macro intermediate term is about the terms of the deal. What is the haircut? What is the loss and gain from this play? Is it desperation or is it cost cutting? Mathematically, Vince believes it's bullish for gold if the terms of exchange are better to use gold than it would have been for them to stick with US dollars. Also, Ghana isn't buying more fuel oil. They're just buying the same oil, but you're using less dollars. Again, de-dollarization, folks. We talk about this over and over. De-dollarization all over the globe, whether it's Russia, whether it's China. And the reason they're de-dollarizing is because you know, we turn the dollar into a weapon. We turn the financial system into a weapon. The reasons that Ghana is probably getting away from the dollar is not because they consider that we weaponize the dollar, but it's probably a cheaper, better deal for them to do it, as Vince points out here. Gresham's law argument is that gold is bad money driving the good money, US dollar out of circulation. Vince throws out a word here, horse shit. Gold is already good money due to its being hoarded by central banks, even at its nadir level, nadir between 1971 and now. Central banks own trillions of dollars of the metals despite having no application as medium of exchange. It remains undefeated as the best store value on earth. Now it's being remonetized as a medium of exchange again due to counterparty risk and technological advances. Gold being used directly without conversion for oil goods exchange exemplifies its growing acceptance as the currency medium of exchange. Again, they're skipping the dollar. They used to sell gold, buy dollars, trade their currency. I mean, they used to sell gold, convert it into their whatever dollars they were using, Ghana, Canada, whoever it was. Then they would trade it for dollars, and then they would buy gold or buy oil with it. Very costly. Now they're just cutting out the middleman. They're cutting out the fiat dollar, more or less. Gold is not bad money at all. Admittedly, that is about the details of the Ghana deal. Whether this is one-off from a nation panicking or an Assad trend remains to be seen. We again think of this little import as a nation buying gold is more important than the one selling it, at least until oil is no longer needed for energy production. Ghana is pulling in Argentina, where Argentina forced its grain growers to sell domestically. This is potentially true. The Ghana government is replacing the currency traders with itself. So they're cutting out all the middlemen. They're cutting out having to sell gold into their local currencies, then turn their local currencies into dollars, and then buy oil with the dollars. They're probably saving themselves a lot of money. Besides de-dollarizing as far as their oil trade goes. Good for gold, not good for the dollar. Well, folks, I want to get into this real quickly, which is something I've said, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. The do's and don'ts of gold storage. And again, this was part of my quote this morning. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Not necessarily true. Just an old saying that is basically true. If someone's got it in possession, it's much harder to get it out of their hands than if you have it in your own hands. Gold storage, they talk about the different types of gold storage on here. This is retirement living, which got me thinking about gold storage. Folks, I don't care how well-intentioned companies are out there. I would really stay away from having someone else hold your gold for many reasons. Again, if you don't hold it, you don't really own it. Gold storage dues, if you purchase it for self-directed IRAs, your choices of storages are limited. The IRS forbids keeping gold and other precious metals at your home that are part of your IRA. And there's a lot of folks out there that are doing their own IRAs, folks. I've heard that this is very dangerous. And again, I don't even like IRAs. I don't care how well trusted the company that's holding the gold is. I don't like IRAs, period. There's no good reason for me to own an IRA. I wouldn't put gold in an IRA. Well, hold on. I got to admit, I did put silver in an IRA, but I don't know why I have it there. I'm better off just owning it myself, especially with the fees that are involved with IRAs, the fees that are involved with Sprott, SLV, the fees that are involved with people that hold your metal. And even, who is this company right here? Kinesis Gold. This company actually baffles me a little bit because it scares me a little bit, actually. And again, my opinion, I could be completely wrong on this, but apparently they hold your gold, and not only do they hold it, they pay you something. Zero storage fees. How can there be zero storage fees for anything? It just doesn't make sense to me. It sounds too good to be true. But it might be. I don't know. But again, I don't care how good these companies are, who runs them, how well run they are. Folks, even the most well-intentioned company out there, the most well-intentioned person out there, if they go down, your gold goes down with them. It might not even be their own fault or their own doing. I mean, if they go down, your stuff goes down with them. I don't care who it is, Kinesis, I don't care. There's all kinds of companies out here that do this. Gold deposit, where is it? I guess this company does it, stores gold. There's a couple of companies out there that also have storage, gold storage. Look, gold and silver depositor, even SD is getting into the game as low as $9.99 a month. Folks, I do like SD Bullion, even though I advertise to beat their prices. SD, APMEX, and JM Bullion, I'll beat their prices on all gold and silver products, and the locals as well. There's my little selling, there's my little advertising for myself. And again, I have great respect for these companies, particularly SD Bullion, but I tell you what, I wouldn't let anyone hold my gold, not even SD Bullion, not Kinesis, not even, anyone. It defeats the purpose of owning it, okay? And that leads up to the next best thing. Where's the best place to put your gold and silver? Well, I don't believe putting it in someone else's hand or someone else's vault is a good idea at all. I highly recommend against that. If you're going to buy gold, silver, and platinum, hold it yourself, folks. And where's the best place to hold gold and silver and platinum? In your own home. If you own more than one home, having a good hiding place. Also, not telling anyone that you own gold and silver, keeping it completely mum. And again, a super good hiding place is always smart. I'm a big fan of, hang on one second, let me kind of hop in here. Floor safes. I'm going to just type in floor safes. I am a big fan of floor safes. No, I don't use them myself. I have a business that has super uber great safes. I don't have to have a floor. In fact, I don't keep anything at home just because people know I'm in the business, and I don't want people coming to my home and ripping me off or trying to rob me at my house. Everything is at my business, but a lot of you folks don't have businesses with big heavy-duty safes and alarm systems that you can use, so you're kind of stuck with storing the stuff at home yourself. Again, floor safes to me are great because you can hide them anywhere as long as you don't live in a condo because your neighbor's not going to like it. But floor safes are wonderful. If you're handy, you can put them in yourself. They're flush mount with the floor. You can throw a rug or a couch over it or a piece of furniture or refrigerator, whatever you want. You can put them anywhere in the place. The first thing is finding it. Someone would first have to know that there's one in your house. The second thing is they'd have to get it open. And again, buy quality, folks. Don't buy cheap stuff. Stay away from the electronic locks, especially if there's any chance of flooding. That'll completely screw you. Stick with the old traditional dials, the combination dials, and or keys, high-tech keys. But floor safes are where I recommend to hide gold and silver. Silver is a different, gold's a little bit different. Gold, I've talked about this many times, and I got to show you the picture. I got it somewhere. You can store $1 million worth of gold in a 2-slice toaster. So, it's so easy to hide gold and silver in your house or on your property. I don't know if I'd bury it. You might forget where you buried it. But, that brings up another good point. Whether you bury it or whether it's in your house hidden well, make sure you tell at least one other person that's outside your home, because again, if it's your spouse, if your spouse and you are in a car and something happens to you, both of you together, boy, your stuff is never going to be found until the new owner comes in and happens upon it. So always tell someone that's outside your household that you trust where to look in the event of your demise. Your oldest child, your youngest child, whoever you trust. But always have another person know where your precious metals are, just in case something happens to you and your spouse or your spouse. So I like floor safes. I met a guy one time that had tons of silver bars, and he hid them in his walls. He built a wall over silver bars. His wall in his garage was a fake wall, and it had silver bars lined up inside it. I've heard people doing other things, burying them in floors. As far as silver goes, there's so many different ways you can hide gold and silver. When I was a kid, there used to be an antique shop in Boca Raton off Palmetto Park Road. I forget the guy's name, super nice guy. He had a 100-ounce silver bar he used as a doorstop. And he said no one would ever steal it. It was so obvious. No one would ever think I'd put a silver bar there. But you got to remember, that's when silver was worth $300-400 an ounce. The man literally used a 100-ounce Engelhard silver bar as a doorstop. I saw it. I bought it from the guy. He painted it black and used it as a doorstop. But, I'm just giving you ideas. If you're going to own gold, silver, and platinum, own it yourself. Possession is 9/10 of the law, kind of. Again, no matter how well-intentioned some of these companies might be, you can wake up and just find it gone. They're gone, and everything they own is gone, and everything they were holding for you is gone. So again, hold it yourself, folks. That's my recommendation. As far as premiums out there and products, still the best deals are the generic products. When it comes to silver, generic 100-ounce, 10-ounce, and kilo bars are the best deals out there in silver. And as I said, I advertise to be APMEX, SD, JM Bullion, local guys down here. I'll get into how you can reach me if you want to buy gold and silver. As far as gold goes, best deal out there is still gold bars as well. I think they're spot plus 85 or spot plus $80 or less in small quantities. So those are the best deals. But gold eagles have come down, so if you really like gold eagles, the price is a little bit more reasonable from where it's been. Don't know how long it'll stay that way, though. Once these markets start to move, I suspect that the high premium stuff are going to go up dramatically as well. Well, that's it, folks. This is Brian Kuzmar saying this is my quote of the year, which is going to end pretty soon. Think for yourself and always question authority. And you know why I say that, so I don't need to repeat myself. Like, I do that anyway. But hey, this is Brian Kuzmar. We're at conciergebullion.com. If you're buying more than 1,500 ounces of silver or more than 100 ounces of gold, anywhere in the continental U.S., you can deal with us. We do traditional forms of payment with bank wires and traditional safe forms of shipping to get it to you directly. If you're not buying more than 100 ounces of gold and you're buying less than 1,500 ounces of silver, come by and see us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. This is our local brick and mortar here in South Florida. Unfortunately, we don't do any shipping, but we can sell you anywhere from $1 worth of gold and silver and platinum to millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and platinum. And we will beat the locals. We'll also beat APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion as well. Well, that's about it, folks. And don't forget, with my father's passing, I have inherited his show, the Collectorama Show, which is a show held in Lakeland, Florida on December 15th to the 17th. Really cool. There are going to be lots of coins there and collectibles and probably bullion as well. So if you live in South Florida and Lakeland's not too far from a drive for you, go to the collectoramashow.com page and get your free tickets to get in. They're $5 at the door, but if you get your free ticket here and you show it on your phone, you get in for free. And if you're a dealer and you want to set up a table here, hit the dealer page here as well. Here, let me show you let me see if my free ticket page is working. There we go. Just show this ticket at the door and you get in for free. Well, that's it, folks. Have yourself a wonderful day, and looking forward to talking to you tomorrow morning. Bye now.